Today I will talk about single sign-on, which sounds simple, but as the presentation goes, you'll discover it's actually quite complicated in practice. So a bit about myself. My name is Fung. I work in a company called SkyMakers. Like SkyMakers is the name in London, but in Asia we are called our Sky. So we created Off-Gear, a tool for developers to implement, sign up, and log in easily into their apps. And we started as an app agency. But in over a decade of developing software or fixing other broken softwares, we often see that security is implemented so poorly. It may be overlooked because the business owner don't know what they need, or the junior developer don't know how to do it, or the senior developer just gave it up because of a tight timeline. But actually, security is not extremely complicated once you understand the principles. But we believe that by standardizing it into a turnkey solution, there is less chance for developers to make mistakes. So we make Off-Gear for developers so they can plug it into their software easily instead of treating security as an afterthought. So let's start with some stories. Few years ago, there was a loophole found in Zoom. The login with Facebook button can be used to hijack any account. And what the attacker needs to do is just sign up a Facebook account without an email address, and then use that Facebook account to log in with Zoom. Now, Zoom will ask you what your email address is, like which account you want to link it to. Then you can put in your victim's email address. But because of how their URL is designed, like how their confirmation URL is designed, you can just change a few characters on that screen to take over that account without receiving actual emails. So yeah, and after that, you can take over the account, you can log in with your Facebook, and then see all the email addresses in that organization. And thus, you can take over all the accounts in that company. Luckily, it's fixed already, so you can try it at home. A few months ago, GitLab also found a loophole in password reset. You can log in. You can go to their forgot password website, and then type in the victim's address, and then intercept that request, and then just add your own email address into the JSON body and then forward that to GitLab. Now, the victim and the attacker will receive the exact same email reset link. So the attacker can just reset the victim's password using that link. And of course, this is fixed, so I can talk about it openly. You can see their own discussion in this URL. And a week ago, EMPF just launched in Hong Kong. It's a pension fund program, pension fund platform in Hong Kong. So millions of people will be using that to manage their pension fund. But as we tried out, we found that their mobile app and their website are having two different password policies. And you can't really register because their email OTP always fails. And I can't even register my phone number because whenever I register my phone number, I will get the OTP in email instead. So this is not a security issue per se, but the UX is really bad and it is hurting the sign-up rate. So I must emphasize these three stories are not our clients, so we didn't make their sign-up login. But I just want to use this to illustrate that making login right is very hard, let alone making it right in every platform. So there are many things to consider when you want to build a secure system. You need to consider rate limit, you need to consider 2FA or like CSRF protection. But instead of implementing security features over and over in every app, you can use a authentication server, so also known as IAM solution. The server will help you manage the identities in a centralized directory, and it will help you authenticate the user by password, 2FA, passkey, etc. And all the apps inside your business can outsource the security to the authentication server, so all the apps will be upholding a highest security standard. Other features in IAM solution typically include access control and monitoring. But that's enough for IAM and off gear. Today I want to talk about single sign-on. It means login once, use anywhere. It sounds simple, but in reality, when we do it for our clients, we find that there are countless ways to do it. It depends, the approach we choose depends on a couple of factors. So first, the platform, like what apps are the users using? Are they website? Are they mobile apps? Are they IoT devices? And do they have control over all the software? Are they developed by different vendors, or are they publishing in a single brand name? What UX you want to bring to the user? Do you want single sign-on, single sign-out, like when users sign out in one app, do they sign out on other apps as well? And lastly, of course, time and cost is also at play at the consideration. So if you are building a website that provides multiple services, such as in Apple, you can share the session using cookies. Like when you log into appleid.apple.com, you will find yourself also logged in mysupport.apple.com with the same account, because they are sharing the session in the cookies of apple.com. And likewise, GitHub and Gist is also the same. So you log in GitHub, you log in Gist. If you log out in GitHub, you also log out in Gist. If your services are running in different domains, then a typical way is to redirect the user to the authentication server. So one of our clients is a global chain, fast food chain restaurant that sells hamburgers. I can't tell the name, but so they have tens of thousands of users, of staff members. And in a typical day, they will need to use different internal software. But the internal software are developed by different developers. So they will have different domains. When they log into the first software, they will be redirected to the authentication server to complete the login. And then they will get a session. They will get a session there. And they are using the second service. They will be redirected to the off server again. But because of the off server already have that session, they know that the user has just been authenticated. So the user don't have to type in their credentials again to get a new session. So this is a very common overflow. You may have seen it in many different other cases as well. But then, how about on mobile apps? There are no cookies on mobile apps. But actually, we can share the sessions using browser. So for example, this is Decathlon's app. So when I log into Decathlon, it will show a browser, and then I can log in through the browser. So after the login, the browser will close, and then I'm logged in the app. And at the same time, actually, the session is set in the default browser of my operating system. So when I go through Safari, I'm logged in again. And because of the shared nature of the browser, when I download another app from Decathlon, maybe like the one on the right, the Coach app, it will also show the browser for half a second. And then because of the session in browser, I'm logged in again. So this can be achieved by using these two API, AES Web Authentication Session on iOS and custom tabs on Android. But a lot of our clients actually don't like this, because the AES Web Authentication will always show a dialog like this. They think it's interrupting the user experience, or they don't like the browser is not customizable for their brand. And maybe the third case is they want to render a marketing site in the app, but actually the session is not shared in the WebKit web view. Because as I mentioned, the session is shared with the outside browser. It's not shared in the WebKit web view internal to the app. So these are some drawbacks of using that. Another case of doing SSO on mobile phone is using app groups and account manager. This will help you produce a more seamless experience. So, for example, in Google, when you sign in signing the first app at the first time, it will write a device secret in a secure place in your device, such as app group in iOS and account manager in Android. There are some secure container inside your operating system. So when other verified apps are installed, they can use that device secret to authenticate the user. But this will require the apps to be published by the same developers. Right, the third way to do mobile-to-mobile login is through a protocol called app-to-app. If you have used the mobile bank in UK before, you may have seen a similar flow like this. So in this flow, the app B is requesting authentication through app A, and then app A will ask the server to authenticate on behalf of app B, and then at the end, it will transfer the authentication result to app B, and app B can get its own sessions. So in this case, the session is not shared through browser cookies or a common storage like before. It's all one-off. So besides, so one of the advantages is that the apps can be published by different developers, but if you require them to have a secure interaction, then it may be a good choice. And other second use case for this can be illustrated by this video. So in Hong Kong, the HSBC app have two apps. Like one is the main bank app, and the other is the reward app. So when I use the reward app, when I press login, it will bring me to the HSBC app, and I will complete my Face ID in the HSBC app, and then I will get a session back into my reward app. Like this makes sense in that case because you can always assume that the reward app will be like when a user uses the reward app, they will always have the main bank app because you need a bank to open a credit card, open a credit card account, and you can also always assume these two apps will be used by the exact same users. Like you won't log into two different users in these two apps. And the third is that it's more secure for them because they only need to care the authentication in the HSBC app. So there's one less key to store for HSBC. So it's more secure in that way. The last flow I want to share is you may want to do single sign-on across devices as well. So you may recognize this screen if you ever try to log into Netflix or YouTube on your smart TV. It will let you use your mobile phone to log in with the mobile browser and on behalf of your TV. So that's why you can use this flow to log into a device that with limited input capabilities or lacking a browser to log in. So of course there are also many other ways. These are just some flow that we experience in our clients' projects. It all comes down to what UX you want to offer and what platform you are dealing with. So in summary, there are many things to do when you deploy a login. You need to define the UX. You need to build the login UI for all devices. You need to integrate social login and all the login methods. You need to design how to securely share the sessions. You need to prevent different kind of attacks. You need to integrate many different systems. So it will be a burden for the developers. But you don't need to roll your own. You can use a popular libraries like Off-Gear. So you can get all this sorted with a few lines of code. So our SDK is designed for doing that. Our software is completely open source. Our SDK, our server can be found in this repo. Our discussion and design is all open to public. So yeah, you can check out our repo in this link.